when we practice, okay, 1 inch here, a lot of people focus maybe on the stepping leg or the punching hand, or the kicking leg or the blocking hand. So when we practice, we really have to focus our energy on the subtle area, okay? So when we step, this leg really has to do the supporting, it really has to do the generation of power. Certainly I'm pushing from the floor, but this leg really has to do, so try to have this type of feet, okay? So the elbow is really caught to what you're doing, okay? Instead of the elbow coming up, which really hinders the shoulder from being in the proper position as well. So if we try to make our forearm like the floor, parallel like the floor, okay, then this is more the correct amount. Last one. Okay, take a hand. Switch each time, okay, and literally for about 30 seconds, please. I just want the feeling, okay, that the power is not necessarily coming from my arm, but more, okay, from the floor. So it's how to get this power from the floor through my hip, okay, to my hand. And it doesn't matter where you're touching, okay, this has to come from the floor. So before we even start, I know there's going to be tension. Don't come just from the shoulder. A little bit more, try to feel relaxed, okay? Come from the it's set, okay? So when we practice, okay, not harmonious, okay? A little bit before. So try to fire this up, okay? A little bit before the leg. A little bit before the leg. Understand? So starting by, okay, not finishing the job in the same spot. Okay? So again, this foot has to be sent from the back leg. Okay? Not this way. Understand? So a little bit more, okay, from the back leg. Yes? Pushing from the back leg. Pushing from the back leg. In practice, try to think of also the other arm. We spend so much time and effort thinking about the hikite, and Scott Sensei and every instructor says, oh, hikite, pull back. Okay? So we have to also think about, okay, what happens with this sound when we move forward. Okay, everybody understand? So if you think about somebody punching, maybe they're punching in a hooked way. Okay? We stop it at the end. Understand? Where a lot of people get, we're thinking about this. We're thinking about the distal part of the arm. So when we move, okay, one, hey, we have to think about this area. Everybody understand? So when we practice, okay, think about how this hand can also be used. Obviously, we don't have as much time as I'd like, but you can think about using this hand to drive forward. Then this leg doesn't matter, okay? If it lands on the inside, outside, then it also has points as well. Okay, so one, okay, you can use this leg as well. Okay, but let's just keep it simple for right now, but try to think about all these ideas as you practice. Okay, so you can practice Oizuki, or you can practice Kizami. Okay, I'm going to drive him forward to do the Oizuki. I think, again, most of us are still thinking about the hand. Okay, which it takes a long time to go the other way. Okay, but let's start now. Okay, so from here, okay, really have a feeling of driving him forward. You're going to do the Oizuki. Okay, and one. So he's not going to, one more time. Okay, again, we can't be too perfect in our craft. Okay, we have kata, we have kiman, we have all these things that really develop this perfection. Okay, but sometimes we have to let that go. Okay, so push, testing your memory, pushing the boundary. Okay, so we have to try to think about not being too careful in our training, okay, but really driving that forward. Okay, whatever happens after happens, but naturally your body's going to bounce. So one more time, my role in this is not, he's my good friend, so Sensei's not watching, so I'm just going to give him a little. I'm really going to test him, because then he's really going to test me. So from here, I'm really gonna one. That's the drive forward. My body will take care of stabilization. Okay, a couple more. To here. You understand? He's shifting his shoulder blade from like this distance together to kind of more than this distance, I think, round the shoulder forward. So you're looking for this inflection with your whole body. This kind of way back, like you're going completely back, using your back muscles, and then use your back muscles to come forward, to snap forward. You're picking away from the arm now. You're just thinking about your shoulder flexion. So from here, just this drive forward, this fit. Just from here, have this sense of shoulder. Understand?
Us.
Then, what I don't wish to do is to do this. Don't push and then push more. It has to be impactful. It has to have like this inflection with your shoulders, to create power. If I have a weak foundation, then I'm going to, as soon as I create any sort of power, it's going to buckle. So although I'm isolating my shoulders to try to create power, ultimately if I have no foundation, it won't work whatsoever. So, I'm in this small stance, tailbone, my core is engaged, sensors forward, inner thigh muscle squeeze. So whatever power I create with my upper body, it's automatically transferred. Then afterwards, then we can talk about what we're doing with the hips and our stance, and then we're creating power because it's a completely whole body movement. But we can't do that unless we isolate each individual point. So, like Scott Sensei before, talking about all these like individual points and trying to kind of connect them. That's what we're doing. We're just kind of focusing on. Shimmy is caused by this internal shimmy. Whether I'm making one shoulder shimmy, my pelvis close, thigh squeeze, everything is coming to that one point which produces kime. This is what true kime is. Like this closing of your center. And kime, when we talk about kime, is just the external manifestation of internal tension. Understand? So timing, I've talked about this before, but timing is everything. Speed is ego. Moving fast, kind of this, I scored a foot. It's meaningless unless your body weight is connected. Moving slowly, getting this body weight behind it is far more meaningful. And you get the timing right, then you can always add speed. It's like kicking, someone who's really flexible. Get the technique right, you can always add height. But people try to kick high, and that's the goal of a kick, is to kick high, and they forget about the technique. And then when you get old, apparently, when you get old, you get less flexible. That's what I've been told. And so then you're looking at nothing. When you're young, you have the flexibility, and you kick high. When you're old, you don't have the flexibility, and you don't have the kick anymore. So that's why it's important to think about the time. So you'll see it a lot in kind of like this, like especially WTKO kata, but kind of this way. And if you do it fast enough, it looks okay. Well, I hope that you still doesn't look okay. But if you do it fast enough, it kind of looks okay. But what it is body first and hand. And on the moment of impact, you have no weight whatsoever, as opposed to having your total body feeling behind your head. So there's last minute to just process. Same thing. Have a sense that this hand is touching as you make a shimmy, as you engage, before this foot settles into the sand. So that all your body is being driven through. So have this sense of driving in, driving from your center. You can drive, you can drive this way. But it's about having this inflection with your shoulder, inflection with your hip, driving from your back. This way. What's that? And pounding. I know people who've been training, been on a few courses I've taught recently, almost specifically handy, driving to handy. And I think it's an important point. We're not driving with the shoulder. The shoulder is quite heavy, we're driving the shoulder is quite heavy. But I just want you to be impactful with this handy feeling. This feeling of this feeling. Is that? Those who are on the course in October with Steve Ubel Sensei, Richard Sensei, the Ubel shuffle, he kind of walks around the door. Consistently this way, you must do this feeling. You must do that. Understand? Can you see this? Especially the second one, yeah? Knee, take it up.
point where pushing across his body is the second one. Not kind of making this contraction, this relaxation, this feeling. Okay? Okay, sa, enzo, a little bit better. Shi, enzo. Okay? Good. Everyone understand? So I want you to pulse with your sensei. Well, so every time you're pulsing, you're saying you're ready to from this relaxation, then you're just putting it right now. Yeah? This feeling. Pulse. Understand? Okay.